Well, it looks like our special guest has arrived. So I just want to welcome everyone here. If we can get started, grab a seat, that would be awesome. My name is Tom Marr. I'm the Regional Director for the Healthcare Leadership Council, and I've been working with TESCO and Leidos, or QTC, the HLC member that nominated TESCO Specialty Vehicles for this award. And it's just been a lot of fun to get to know the company, the work that you do. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Debbie Witchey, the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for the Healthcare Leadership Council, and she'll fill you in a little bit more about the award and about HLC.
Bless whoever the person is who brought the stairs. I was so afraid I was going to have to leap up here in my heels. So as Tom said, you might be wondering who the Healthcare Leadership Council is. Our members are CEOs from all different sectors of healthcare. And I know a lot of you are not from the healthcare world, but you probably do know that sometimes all those sectors don't get along. And when I first went to HLC, I thought, oh, there's no way that they ever could get anything done. Because I had worked for a hospital system in South Carolina before I moved back to DC. And I was used to having the fight with the hospital and the health plan every year over the contract. And, you know, some people like the pharmaceutical companies, some people don't. So I thought, how did these people ever come together and do anything? And what I have learned over my past almost 22 years now at HLC is that this is really a self-selected group of CEOs who want to come together, want to try to get something done. And that's really what drives them forward. And they do accomplish things, even in Washington. So what really brings them together is this desire to consistently drive forward innovation, and also to be as patient-centered as possible, which sometimes is also very challenging. But those are the overarching goals for the organization. And if we stay focused on those goals, then we can make progress. So a few years ago, our members started talking about what can we do to we talk about being patient-centered. We talk about the need to link together with the community and what we're trying to do in Washington with health policy. And how do we do that? And what our members decided was that oftentimes some of the best ideas are already happening out in communities, and communities are finding ways, and organizations and communities are finding ways to address healthcare needs, maybe even better way than what health policy might be. And so we created this Redefining American Healthcare Award to start going out into the communities and finding these programs and these organizations that are looking at healthcare a little bit differently than how it's always been delivered. So sometimes we find these programs because they come to us and say, we want to be recognized, and we take a look at the outcomes, look at what they're doing, and decide if they make sense for an award. And then other times our regional directors like Tom, who you just saw on stage, are out in the community and they're finding programs. And then the third way we find these programs or these organizations is through our member companies. So in this case, Leidos is an HLC member, and QTC is a division of Leidos, and QTC is a customer of the program that we're honoring today. And so that's how we first became aware of what TESCO Specialty Vehicles was doing. So we've given this award to all different kinds of programs. I was out in LA a couple of months ago giving it to LA County for an infant mortality program that they are running. Tom was in Boston, I think, was it last year? I lose track. And we gave an award to a program there that was looking at how to diversify clinical trials so that we are really reaching more patients through the clinical trial programs. Earlier this year, we gave a program in rural South Carolina that was focused on telehealth. So they really vary, but at the end of the day, they all are about how do we break down barriers? How do we encourage more health equity, and that can be defined very broadly. How do we innovate care to be more patient-centered? So that brings us to why are we giving this award to TESCO Specialty Vehicles? And the reason is because this is a really innovative idea. What they have been able to do and you have been able to do is look at how is care delivered and where do we have those barriers, and those barriers are for people perhaps in rural areas who can't get to primary care, who maybe are skipping care because of that. And it's really about taking care to people, but it's also even more innovative than that because it's bringing together all different pieces and parts of healthcare delivery. It's looking at how we use telehealth to bring care to people. It's also looking at how do we tackle some of the patient privacy issues around data and information, which is obviously a sensitive topic. And it's really all about reaching people where they are. The other reason that we think that this is important is because this isn't just something that's happening in one small geographic area, but this is something that we can take and is being taken all over the country through TESCO Specialty Vehicles. So with that, I would like to ask Mr. Graham to join me on stage. And it is my honor and pleasure to present the Redefining American Healthcare Award to TESCO Specialty Vehicles.
Thank you, Debbie. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bud Graham, and I'm president of TESCO. I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of the 120 team members of the TESCO companies and the specialty vehicle division led by my son, Brent. I'd like to recognize this gentleman over here. He's my father, the CEO of the company, sitting next to the Congresswoman, after Noel Graham. He has had tremendous passion for our business and for our customers over 55 years. I would like to express my you to QTC for vehicles, our customers and organizations like the HLC that believe in TESCO specialty vehicles. We are immensely proud to be recognized for the work we do to supply quality mobile clinics to our customers. It's very gratifying to know that our mobile clinics are utilized nationally to provide quality healthcare services in urban and rural communities and to care for our veterans. We are very fortunate to have many business partners that help us deliver our mission. We would like to acknowledge each of you if time would allow, but specifically, I want to mention Dark, Colorado, Turtle Top, and Huntington Bank. It's a great honor to see all the city, state, and federal government representatives here today, as well as leaders of business, community, and regional organizations. Your presence here and all of your support over the years is very meaningful to us. I look forward to personally thanking all of you at the reception immediately following the ceremony. Tom and Debbie, I would like to thank you and all the members of the Healthcare Leadership Council for this prestigious Redefining America Award, Healthcare Award. Thank you.
We're going to hear from one other top level person from TESCO.
Definitely not top level. Definitely not. No, I have the privilege. My name is Paul Groman, to work with the specialty vehicle division. And I have one more thanks to give, Bud, and that is Mommy Bay to making this happen. Interestingly enough, a tornado came and wiped the original tent away. This is a new tent. From my perspective, I'm from Wisconsin. We have Jurassic Park bugs flying around. They got those out of here too. And of course the smoke. So really, we appreciate Mommy Bay's hospitality today. Well, I just want to say a few words on behalf of my colleagues in the specialty division. This award wouldn't be possible without the support of the larger TESCO bus family. We get tremendous amount of help to deliver our vehicles, and we want to thank each of you. And of course, my colleagues as well. I personally get to see their creativity, their imagination, their drive, their passion for mobile quality vehicles. Oftentimes, our team has to work in very condensed timeframes. We have stories of 90 days or less, 60 days or less, 30 days or less of delivering a quality vehicle. And it's because of my colleagues' passion for doing that, their creativity, their innovation, that we're able to pull that off for communities in need. We are truly humbled for winning this award and grateful for the role that we play in offering specialty vehicles that are really helping improve equitable access for underserved communities across the country. But we realize that our role is really a small one. It's just part of the story of delivering mobile healthcare across the country to underserved communities, and at times, sadly, people, right? Persons, individuals that are completely falling through the healthcare system today. Specifically, I want to thank QTC and Leidos for your partnership and being here today, and the work that you're doing across the country in rural America for veterans. I had a chance to go observe the clinics in action, and it is an impressive sight to behold. Additionally, we have Ohio State here today, and we appreciate the work that you're doing in the communities, partnering with all the counties in the state of Ohio. But this is really their story. In a little bit, we're going to hear about them. And we're excited as we hear the stories about what they're doing to serve the underserved, to provide preventative care, and it will really add to our passion that TESCO has as we leave here today to see the value both now and in the future of mobile health care. I also want to thank Mary Catherine for being here today. She's at the center table. She's from the Harvard Medical School, and we appreciate her partnership as well. They're developing and have developed an engagement tool called the Mobile Health Map. Mobile health program across the country. Health, it's measuring impact of how mobile health services are making a difference to equity in healthcare today. I just want to share a few stats from their reach. Of course, my tablet died right when I said that. Bad timing. For example, equity is being advanced by mobile healthcare. Interesting to note, 58% of those receiving healthcare service today are minority groups. 55.3 are low income categories, and 36.1% receiving mobile healthcare services are in rural communities. Access is also being enhanced. In fact, it's estimated at a minimum that at least 10 million patient visits are being completed each year in very important preventative medicine categories such as primary care, dental, and behavioral health services. In addition to that, there's a return on investment for mobile health care. For every $1 on average that is being spent on mobile health care, there's a $21 return. Pretty amazing stuff. And there's much more we could talk about if we had time. So to conclude, TESCO Specialty Vehicles, we're extremely proud of the part of the story that we're involved in. and supplying vehicles to improve access to healthcare. But what is the ask of you today? Well, please spread the word, the excitement about mobile healthcare. In your sphere of influence, do whatever you can to advance mobile healthcare now and into the future.
I would like to introduce the Honorable Marcy Kaptur to add her remarks and congratulatory sentiments for TESCO Specialty Vehicles. Congresswoman.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What a beautiful setting. Thank you all for coming, and warmest congratulations to the Graham family, to Noel, to Bud, to everyone who is here intergenerationally doing something extraordinary. And thank all of you for understanding. I'm sure several of you work for the company. If so, raise your hands. Right. Man, you deserve a lot of applause. Absolutely. I don't have a long speech, but I would like to say a big thank you to each of you for thinking about how to better deliver healthcare in our country. And to the Healthcare Leadership Council, which sounds like you go everywhere in the country and attempt to find extraordinary examples of where America is actually living in the 21st century, not the 20th. And so I'm learning more about you and respecting it. I also want to thank, how many of you work directly in the healthcare professions? Raise your hand for me. Yeah. So to each of you, the immense challenges that are faced in healthcare, particularly during the coronavirus pandemic and even afterwards, in many of the situations that we find across our country and region, thank you for giving your lives to the field of healthcare. It is such a noble profession. I'm not sure what year it actually started, what millennium it started in, but to be in this profession requires a very strong, caring, and intelligent person. So thank you to all of you. I know many of the hospitals I represent have said to me, Marcy, don't ever say to an audience, we are beyond the pandemic, because we inside the systems, we're still in it, because of the challenges faced in trying to retool, trying to rehire, trying to train workforce. And you're all part of holding America's seams together as we move forward in this decade. So you save lives. And as I looked at those vehicles outside, I thought of many things. Legislature of Ohio drew a new district that I represent. You are actually sitting in the new district, but it goes all the way to the Indiana border. And as I was having a meeting out there with some of the veterans commissions, I said, give me an example of something you've done. They said, well, Marcy, one of the most difficult, we had to go out to a family that had no heat and everything was frozen in their house. And the husband was ill. And it was 30 degrees in the house. And we were out there to try to deliver meals and to try to figure out what we could do to help this family. And I'm remembering what they had to do, and they have a vacant old nursing home out there that still is in pretty good shape. They said, Congresswoman, can you help us try to find the funds to care for veterans out here who basically are in very poor circumstances. We haven't completed that project yet, but we're certainly attempting to do that. In going out there, I have been, one woman who isn't from my home district called me up and she goes, Marcy, I'm a midwife. Do you have any idea what the death rate is for women in childbirth in Van Wert County? I said, I've never represented Van Wert County. I don't know. She said, well, it's the worst in the state of Ohio. I need help. I need help. And I'm only saying these things to you because I just can't make that happen the next day, but maybe you're in situations where you can think about it. The issue of workforce development money. in this country, we have placed so much money at the federal level for workforce development, including in the health professions, but it isn't always brought home by the places you would think would apply for it. So if any of you are in a position to work with us in the county you're sitting in, Lucas County, we have placed at the main Toledo-Lucas County Public Library branch in downtown Toledo, the main office down there, with a woman named Linda Fairweather, 4 individuals who are prepared to identify all federal support that can be brought home for workforce development. It is underutilized. If any of you have the ability to do that, or you know retirees who can, please help us bring the money I vote for home. Do not assume it comes back home. I wanted to mention a couple other things if I could. This is my moment at the mic. I saw something in our district that I've never seen. I've served a long time in office. They added Williams County to our district now. So I was out at Spangler's Candy Company, and Kurt Bayshaw, the president, asked me if I wanted a tour. It's like going through Candyland. It's a wonderful tour. And he said, now I want to show you our health clinic. I said, oh, health. Oh, sure. Okay. So we walked over, and there's this section of the company, and they have about 500 employees. And so I walked in, and it was more than a little clinic. It's quite a clinic. And I had never seen it in another company that I've represented. Think about this. And he said, yes, we care for the people in our company and also 4,000 residents of the town. I said, what? How can you afford that? And he said, Marcy, when we started taking people's blood pressure and they're giving them free generics, pills, if they need pills. I said, why doesn't this exist everywhere? I still don't quite understand why not, but they brought their costs down, their insurance costs so significantly. I said, that should be everywhere. Why isn't it in every company? Maybe you can help me understand why not. But that truly is remarkable. And they're making money. They just bought Bit-A-Honey, and they repaired another, I don't know, 380,000 square feet or something that they're putting in to handle that and all of the storage that they have out there. So they're making money, and they're literally caring for their whole community. I thought, why isn't that happening everywhere? What's wrong with our healthcare system that however they're able to accomplish that can't be done everywhere? Where I need help, and this is virtual broadcasting. We have something at the University of Toledo Medical Center. How many of you are from Northwest Ohio? Raise your hand. Most of you. You can be my warriors. We have something at the University of Toledo Medical Center called the Simulation Center. And we have people here from all places in the world. The former head of our medical college is from Egypt, and she can speak the language there. I just ran into the man who owns Beirut restaurant, Alabi Pajar, the other day. He's originally from Lebanon. He speaks Arabic. I have people I run into here from Ukraine, one yesterday, actually. And she'd actually traveled here from Chicago and works for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. But I look at this simulation center. We could be broadcasting medicine to the little hovels in Egypt at the community level, the little clinics in Egypt, because our people here, we could teach medicine from Toledo abroad now with modern technology. We're not doing it. We look at Lebanon, a country that's just barely hanging on. We have a gigantic Lebanese American population here. They would help us. We have the ability. We're not doing it as a community. Toledo really is a place that can reach across the world because of where our people work, how they think, where they've come from. And I think we could do a lot more. Maybe some of those in the room today can think about that. We have the capacity. We're just not moving toward that end. We have a pharmacy school, the only pharmacy school in all of Northern Ohio. Cleveland doesn't have a pharmacy school. Ada, Ohio Northern has a small one. We have the ability to make medicine. We're not doing it. Why aren't we doing it? I went into one lab in Toledo and I was shocked. It's a local lab built by local people. And I saw the most unusual test tube on the desk. I said, it wouldn't roll. Okay, how many of you ever worked in a lab where the test tube rolled and it was a mess? It was like a trapezoid. And the woman said, "Oh, I invented it." I said, "Did you patent it?" And she just looked at me. So I think we have the opportunity to make medical products beyond what we're doing now. And you're probably finding that as you move your vans around, you are seeing things that no one else has seen. I see Dean Monsky back there. You stand up. Regional Growth Partnership. Okay. He's the person, if you have innovative ideas, whether it's in medicines, whether it is in medical devices, whether it is in processes, whether it is in the way that you think about building your medical vans, he can find you a way to move that to market. I can't do that for you, but I see so much discovery here that isn't pushed up to the next level. So everything you know really matters. Everything you see every day really matters. We, on the medical front, awarded to the University of Toledo Medical Center about $500,000 to build a medical van. And they don't have one. And I'm not sure they know how to use one. But I represent Erie County also, and the health director there, Pete Shade, is a really good health director. And he has a mobile van. And I called him up. I says, "Hey, Pete," I said, "you know, we got this money for the University of Toledo. What do you think's the most important thing to put in the van?" He goes, "Dental, and have 2 chairs if you're going." I said, "Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't build medical vans. I want to help people who help cure people who need help." And so I think that maybe you could give some advice to the University of Toledo. And one of the other unusual things that was said to me was, I said, "Well, now you're going to take that van out to places like Van Wert County," and because we have the only medical university that serves the entire northwestern quarter, the quarter of Ohio. Who's the person from Ohio State? Raise your hand. I'm going to pick on you. Okay. Columbus, that's a different world. We're up here, you know, on the Maumee River, and we got a lot of rural counties around us, and they're underserved. They're underserved medically, and we appreciate all the help you give us. Don't take me the wrong way, but we need to link to them better. And we produce the doctors and the nurses that ultimately go serve in these places if they serve there at all. We're short on dentists, we're short on pediatricians, we're short on people who can give blood pressure tests. But the University of Toledo is afraid to take their van out in the country, out in Sandusky County or out in Williams County. They say, "We don't want to compete." So, Dean, I need your help because I don't think they're going to compete with anybody. And there's a few doctors out there. And most of these people don't need to be hospitalized, but they need general health. I'm only sharing this with you because I didn't know all this until I became an elected official, and I start to see what's happening across these various different systems. The final thing I want to say about TESCO's amazing growth and refinement of your product, the ability for us in Northern Ohio and Northwest Ohio to connect economic growth to medicine is extraordinary. And here's an example. When I was first elected, we had more hogs here in my district than people, but it was an industry going down, and I saw them going out of business. It's a terrible thing to have constituents who are going out of business, and you try to help them, and you can't. The market is more powerful than any one person. And today, nationally, Smithfield, owned by the Chinese, is the largest hog owner in America. I'm not comfortable with that, but that's the reality. And a few years ago, we lost many Americans due to imported heparin that was tainted. And we tracked it back after 4 years. Took me 2 elections to get reelected, and we tracked it back to China. And they purposefully tainted the heparin. Okay, so Americans died. There's a book written about it called RX China. RX China. Most Americans aren't even conscious that that happened. And I've asked the question a million times, why can't Northern Ohio make heparin? The main ingredient of heparin is pig mucus from the intestines. We could do it. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it? At least to serve our own needs. We have that capability. Not so many years ago, and I'll end with this story, because we've been struggling back economically and but we're coming along, folks. We worked with our farmers, hog farmers again, and we developed, when a former president of the University of Toledo was in place, sterile hogs. And we harvested the valves of their hearts, and to this day, they're being transplanted into people. Our ability to innovate based on what you're seeing as you're going out on your many runs with these vans is the sky's the limit. In what you learn about healthcare and what we can do, the kind of instruments we use, the kind of medical serums and bandages and so forth that are needed. You are the innovators in healthcare because you are the ones working with people every day, and you can take televised instruction, you can have Zooms, you can do behavioral health counseling from these vans. You are really creating the future for us. And I just wanted to say that your important award today, we will place in the congressional record. I thank you for giving me these few moments to share ideas with these creative people sitting in the audience. Thank you very much for moving our region and America forward, and congratulations, TESCO. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for your remarks. I'm going to look to the back of the room. I'm going to queue up a few recorded messages from other elected officials here in Ohio who have submitted. Yep, you go right ahead.
I'm Sherrod Brown. It's an honor to represent Ohio in the Senate. Congratulations to TESCO Specialty Vehicles on receiving the Redefining American Healthcare Award from the Healthcare Leadership Council. For too long, accessing essential healthcare services has not been easy. In partnership with Ohio State, TESCO's mobile health care units are serving at-risk Ohioans, serving rural communities, serving veterans throughout our state. It's a pillar of the local economy in Northwest Ohio, and this honor is well-deserved. Congratulations. Thank you for the great work you do that earned you this esteemed award. Thank you so much.
And we have one more. It's worth the wait.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Bob Latta, and I'm sorry I couldn't be with you today, but I want to congratulate TESCO on being honored for its mobile medical units. We all know, especially during COVID, how essential these units were, and they're going to be in the future. They can serve people in our rural areas, those who are homebound that don't have transportation. So it's very, very important. So I just want to say again, congratulations to TESCO.
Okay. It's my honor to introduce our next speaker, the Healthcare Leadership Council member, Leidos, worked with us in nominating TESCO specialty vehicles, and to, maybe give a little bit more background on the history and the work that they've done together. I'm going to ask Brendan Gerke to come up to the stage and speak.
You guys are going to have to bear with me here. I'm sitting in for the CEO of QTC, Larry Schaefer. I found that out last night and then started writing a speech to go along with it. Before I get started, I do want to thank Debbie and Tom for making this award possible. I want to thank Paul and give a little story. I don't know if he knows this, but we were looking all over the country for people who could build the mobile medical clinics that would meet the demand. And it was Paul's team who could build new capabilities and deliver it faster to the market than anybody else in the country. And that's why we chose TESCO. So thank you very much for delivering. And I'll explain a little bit why it's so important. Also wanted to give kind words to Congresswoman Capter. She just passed the largest expansion of veteran health benefits in the past 50 years for veterans who, like myself, who slept near burn pits and worked near burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as Vietnam veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange. And because of her work in Congress, the work we do is possible, and the work that TESCO does is possible. So it's an honor to be here for this award ceremony with our value partner, TESCO. We nominated TESCO for the Health Award because of their amazing work in redefining American healthcare. A little bit about QTC, for kindness and customer service. Those three words drive everything we do. And a little bit of the work we do is, when a veteran is applying for disability benefits, the VA will send them to us or one of three other contractors to do their medical disability exam. And we do the medical work in the clinic right up and then send it back to VA to make a determination on how many benefits they will get and the amount of benefits they will get. And so about 6 years ago, QTC developed a plan to improve our service delivery to our customers in rural and underserved communities. And we were asked to do so by the VA. While QTC operates 90 brick and mortar clinics throughout the country, we saw that there are many communities across America with a lack of access to healthcare. As a result, we created the QTC Mobile Medical Clinic program with value partners like TESCO, an industry leader. Since 2018, we've driven over 500,000 miles across the country. These are miles that patients would have had to travel themselves to gain the services that we are providing. We've delivered our services to almost 100,000 examinees, which include veterans, FBI agents, Border Patrol agents, and military service members. We proudly serve 1,700 terminally ill patients in their homes. We have partnered with Native American tribes in Washington and Montana to provide medical disability exam services to tribal veterans on reservations for their first time in their tribe's history. These clinics are ADA compliant with state-of-the-art technology. We do everything that a brick and mortar clinic can do, including dental, x-rays, ultrasounds, and EKGs. Equipped with 4 unique power sources, including QTC's first ever solar powered clinic. Our mobile medical clinics can go anywhere that the customer is. They can operate in the Mojave Desert at 130 degrees or in the winter plains of Minnesota at -40. I wanted to share a story about a veteran that we served that I think illustrates why this is so important. He's allowed me to share this story with you, and I think you'll be as touched as I am. Mr. Alex McKenzie is a 98-year-old veteran who was a nose gunner in a B-24 bomber in World War II. On his 10th bombing mission, his B-24 was shut down and crashed in Italy, split in half. He broke both of his legs on impact. He woke up hanging from twisted aluminum above a wreckage before crawling away on his elbows as ammunition exploded around him. He spent a year in the hospital recovering. Mr. McKenzie eventually made it home, spent his life as a master's level physicist, and later as a professor with a PhD in finance. He is humble and kind, an accomplished amateur machinist, fossil collector, and historian. Today, he lives alone in a small town in Illinois, unable to drive, but refusing to sit around. Although disabled, he maintains his health by riding an ancient exercise bike in his living room, wearing a helmet in case he falls asleep and falls off. Because of the type of innovation and faithfulness to research and development that both QTC and TESCO prize, Mr. McKenzie's medical exams were conducted in a timely manner. Medical exams that led to benefits that will enable him to maintain his independence, ride his bike, study his fossils, and tinker with machines for as long as possible. At the end of our medical exam, when asked if he had any regrets about his service, given his lifelong injuries and extensive wounds, he quietly said no. He only wishes that he could have convinced his mother to let him serve earlier. He was 17 at the time and had to have her permission and signature to go. So we want to thank TESCO for allowing us to serve veterans like Mr. McKenzie. Thank you for working with us to make the lives of rural and tribal veterans easier. This is what cutting edge healthcare is all about, partnering with innovative companies like TESCO to serve people in need effectively and efficiently. Thank you, guys.
I didn't see a commercial vehicle backing up on the agenda, but we got through that, didn't we? I'm going to hand it over to Paul to introduce our next speaker. From Ohio.
think you kind of did the introduction, but I'll do it again. To welcome Paul from Ohio State. And in fact, one of the vehicles is parked out front that's serving Lucas County here and doing amazing work with Narcan and other support. So we look forward to these stories, Paul.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Matherney. I'm an associate director with the Healing Communities Study at Ohio State University. Today, I'm joined also by Jamie Luster, who is our communications director from the Ohio site. And we're thrilled to be here to help TESCO Specialty Vehicles celebrate the receipt of the Redefining American Healthcare Award from the Healthcare Leadership Council. It is truly a well-deserved honor. The Healing Communities Study, also known as HCS, is part of the National Institutes of Drug Abuse HEAL initiative. HEAL stands for Helping End Addiction Long-Term. The goal of the Healing Community Study is to test the impact of integrated evidence-based practices on reducing acute opioid overdose deaths. HCS is one of 4 sites participating in this implementation research study. The other sites are New York, Massachusetts, and Kentucky. Our study aims to evaluate the effect of an integrated set of evidence-based practices across various settings such as healthcare, behavioral health, justice, and community-based organizations on acute opioid overdose deaths. In Ohio, our study field staff works with drug coalitions and stakeholders in each county to identify opportunities for enhancing services for individuals with substance use disorder, particularly opioid use disorder. HCS Ohio comprises several partnering institutions, including the University of Cincinnati, Ohio University, and Case Western Reserve University. And over the course of 5 years, this study will involve 18 counties in Ohio. Individuals with opioid use disorder who seek recovery often face numerous barriers, one of which is limited access to evidence-based practices. For instance, they may struggle to obtain naloxone, a life-saving drug that can reverse a deadly overdose if administered promptly. Another challenge is accessing transportation to county service agencies, which provide not only naloxone, but also connections to medical professionals who can prescribe medications like Suboxone and naltrexone. These medications for opioid use disorder, or MOUD, can assist individuals who wish to stop using opioids, including heroin, fentanyl, and illicit use of prescription drugs. And this is where TESCO comes into the picture. Several counties in our Wave 1 and Wave 2 studies were eager to reach county residents in their own communities and provide them with overdose education, free naloxone, and linkage to care, including medication for opioid use disorder. And to maximize their reach and impact, these counties decided to utilize mobile medical units. Initially, our study, we were quite disheartened to discover that the lead time for procuring these units was extensive and unfortunately did not meet our study timeline. However, TESCO had new units available and was able to customize them to meet the study's needs and deliver them on time. I would like to extend my gratitude to specifically to Brent Graham, Jenny Keebler, and Chris Magsig for their instrumental role in purchasing and providing these units to county service agencies. The process involved numerous phone calls, emails, and virtual meetings to ensure the timely provision of these desperately needed mobile medical units. TESCO's commitment and dedication to their craft, as well as to the county service agencies and the people they serve, is truly impressive. Working with the entire TESCO team has been a great pleasure. I'd like to share some quotes and data from a few of the counties benefiting from the mobile medical units. Signature Healthcare in Ashtabula reported that they have a couple of really great case scenarios where individuals were tested, linked to care, and received medication-assisted treatment. This assistant helped them navigate the court system, and for many of them, regain custody of their children. They have distributed nearly 300 naloxone kits and connected several clients to medication for treatment. The county health department has also distributed hundreds of naloxone kits. They primarily use their mobile medical unit to serve low-income homeless individuals to historically underserved populations. If you would like more details about the Lucas County Department Unit, which is the one that is parked outside this lodge, please feel free to speak to Maj DeStefan, who is the Health Department Supervisor of Overdose Education and Harm Reduction. She is also here today to help celebrate TESCO's achievements. And lastly, Dr. James Gaskell, the Health Commissioner of Athens County, conveyed his relation to the entire TESCO team and shared, we are using the mobile van for naloxone distribution. We take the van to various locations throughout the county weekly to distribute naloxone to anyone interested. Recently, we have joined Jobs and Family Services at their site, attract many individuals in need of services. And since June of 2022, they have distributed close to 100 naloxone kits through the mobile unit. And now I'd like to also express thanks on a more personal level. I have been in recovery for many years, and I consider the people that the county agencies serve as part of my tribe. My life was on a collision course with the consequences of my active drug use. And at that time, I had limited knowledge, skills, and resources to make different choices. I had little hope for a fulfilling future. And it was only through the help of dedicated and empathetic community healers that I am able to do things like this today. The same is true for many of my dearest friends who are also in recovery for many years and are now productive and responsible members of society. Collectively, these are our children and our parents, our siblings, our in-laws, our neighbors, co-workers, business owners, teachers, and healthcare providers. These are people who were saved, sometimes more than once, by naloxone. Others benefited from medications such as Suboxone and naltrexone, two medications which can be instrumental for people recovering from opioid use disorder. Knowing that TESCO's medical units are being used to reach our fellow Ohioans, individuals like myself who are seeking a new way of life, and who will benefit from the guidance, direction, and services offered by the county service agencies as part of their mobile medical unit strategies, is truly gratifying. Once again, on behalf of the HCS study and myself, I extend a heartfelt thank you and congratulations to the entire TESCO team. You have made a profound impact on the lives of people across Ohio and are helping to shape the future of healthcare in America. Thank you.
Congratulations, TESCO. Don't forget your awards up here. So, let's not walk out of here leaving it behind. I am going to ask the Graham family and the TESCO team for a team photo up here with the award, if we can do that, if we can do a group photo. But with that, our award ceremony is done. Thank you all for coming.